the sound out there? Is it too loud? Too loud out there? Okay. Thanks, everybody. So, Professor Suarez invited us to be a part of tonight's Brazilian music celebration. We are the UW-Whitewater at Rock County Afro-Brazilian Drum Project. So this is a grant-funded project. It's not really a club or a class. It's more of like a drop-in session every week. And since the fall, we've been rehearsing like for about an hour a week. And there's sort of no musical requirement asked of our students who come to the group. So we are playing an Afro-Brazilian or sort of African-Brazilian style of music from northern Brazil called samba reggae, which is more of a street parade music, right? It doesn't have a director per se, as you would expect in some Western styles, but rather you'll notice Aurora on the repique drum is making visual calls, right? And cueing us all to know what's coming. But this is a nice, slow kind of music that's meant for the streets. It's meant for celebration, right? So you'll be seeing us all playing different orchestrated little one-measure or two-measure breaks, right? So Senya on the surdus, or me on this surdu as well. Amber's playing the chimbao, and Ali's playing the caixa. So we're going to play about 10, 15 more minutes and then get into the main act tonight. We're excited to see the concert as well. So thanks for letting us be a part of this, and enjoy the samba reggae from Brazil.
Welcome to the URock Concert Band's presentation of Celebrate the Rhythms of Brazil. And so first off, I'd like to thank Nate Maddox and the URock Afro-Brazilian drumming project for their playing this. Let's give them a round of applause. Thanks so much, wherever they are. Our first piece was called Brazilian Polka. They make a what? Brazilian Polka? Why? How? Thought they were Portuguese down there. Well, they are. But guess what? It's also rather a melting pot of sorts. And just before the concert, I looked it up. About 4.5 million native German speakers live in Brazil. Giselle Bruchtin, I think I pronounced her name right, the supermodel, right? She's actually Brazilian German. Her family came from Germany, but she's from Brazil. She was born there. And so long story short, there's a lot of Germanic culture in Brazil. We might even realize that. And indeed, tonight's concert is full of culture mixing. A pop tune, Feel It Still, which you probably heard in the radio, you know, but it's from Brazil ultimately. Also, it's a situation that we see it through an American lens in some pieces like Rhythms of Rio, but it still has Brazilian flavor to it. Our next piece actually is going to be, and I think it was a little bit hectic out there before the concert, so I'm a little bit scrambled tonight. Aren't I always? It is Nikota Omanala. And indeed, this is also a cultural convergence piece, and it's based on all types of different cultures coming together where it's predominantly Brazilian. Now let me give you a hint. For this concert, I went to a place called JW Pepper. It's one of the best resources for concert band music that I can find out there on the web. And I found anything Brazilian I could find. And the other half, I dug through my library. And so tonight we have literally 90-year-old pieces that were used in concert band in like the 1940s, and pieces that are very contemporary today. Let's see, there'll be a prize at the end if you know which ones are older and which ones are newer. Not really. So, with that said, here we go. Nikota Omanala. Thank you. And so we are going to have a brief intermission, but our last piece of the first half is called Feel It Still, a pop tune. Indeed, like I say, you probably heard it on the radio. I didn't realize it was Brazilian influence until I thought about it a little more. And indeed, there are some differences. For example, Tim Jobim is known as helping to create the bossa nova, for example. He's from Brazil originally. I'm not sure if he's passed away, probably has at this point, sadly. But long story short, these rhythms, they have a certain Brazilian sound. And indeed, if you go back to the old country, do not confuse Portugal with Spain at all. No, 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 don't do that. Because it is quite different. The languages are similar, but they're not the same. And indeed, oh yes, here we go, it's history time. All right, so please get out your notes. There'll be a quiz on this next week. I had to write this down myself to get it right? In 1494, the Treaty of Tordesillas, yes, there it is, I win. I'm not good at pronunciations. Tordesillas was created. Alexander VI, the Pope, was the one who originally suggested it, and they kept on moving the line a little bit farther west and west until finally they decided. Another Pope kind of christened it, amen kind of deal. And so that line was more or less adhered to, except the French and the British, they said, nuh-uh, we're not going to go along with that, whatever. But the Spanish and Portuguese actually kind of abided by it. That's why today, Portuguese is the main language in Brazil, and Spanish is like pretty much everywhere else. That's why. It goes way back in history. Of course, those lands were subjugated by Europeans, and natives were there all along. But the world is what it is, and that's why we have it today. So with all that said, we now go to Feel It Still, a nice pop tune. Hope you enjoy it. I'll have a brief intermission. We'll come right back for the second half. Thank you very much. All right, so for you classical music lovers in the audience, our next selection is by the famed Brazilian composer Hector Villa-Lobos. And so this is a suite, and it's transcribed and arranged by Jerry H. Billick, who, if you're a concert band aficionado, you'll know him especially for the American Civil War fantasies piece that he composed and was very popular, around 40 years ago. I remember playing it in high school, playing it in college, et cetera, et cetera. And so it's very well scored, in my opinion. Also, it's something that it's not as avant-garde as some of Villa-Lobos' pieces were. For example, he created a piece that was based on the Rio de Janeiro skyline, and he basically turned that into music. Pretty neat stuff. Also, I remember as a child, he used to like to bang on pots and pans. So if you have a child at home who wants, don't stop them from doing that. They could be the next Villa-Lobos. You never know. So with that said, the suite is in 4 movements, and they are, I wouldn't call them simplistic, but they are certainly pleasant to listen to, and they also are reminiscent of some of his childhood memories and childhood happenings. So here it is, the Hector Villa-Lobos Suite. Oh my goodness, we're already at the end of our concert, believe it or not. But I hope you enjoyed it. And it was great to have the Afro-Brazilian drum group here earlier, so thanks to them. So I'd like to welcome Wendy Anderson-Markow back to the band. Didn't you know she was playing till tonight? And that reminds me, you can sight read a concert and still do just fine. I've had it happen before. It reminds me of a funny story, which I often tell my classes, right? So we had a jazz band concert back when we had a big band, and I had to bring in a third trombonist at the very last minute. And so I thought it'd be cute, right, band, to go around and ask people, how long have you been playing with the band? 20 years. How long have you been here with the URock Jazz Band? Oh, like 30 years. How long have you been here? Just today. And that happens sometimes, And indeed, I've played in groups that I call it go and blow on the French horn, right? You just get the music, you play, you're done, kind of deal. So indeed, welcome back, Wendy. And welcome to everybody else. Hope to see you all this summer. The URock Summer Band is performing for the Sky Carp baseball game, as in the program, July the 20th at ABC Supply Stadium. We're going to play a Star Spangled Banner. And then we have our summer band concert on July 26th. Hopefully the weather will be nice. We'll have it outside. If not, we'll have it in here. So hope to see you then. We end with Rhythms of Rio. So I dug this one out of our library, and it's rather old. As a matter of fact, when you look in the back, or actually, who has some advertisements on the backs of their sheets? So thank you very much. I'll borrow Sandy's. Yes, very good. So for example, you may attempt to buy Capriccio Italienne, but the whole thing is $6.50. The whole thing, the whole folder of music. Can you imagine? Let's see what else is on here. Class C. This is the national contest numbers from the Carl Fisher catalog. This is from, let's see, what does the Roman numeral say on here? Oh, shoot, it's in numerals, Arabic numerals. 1939. That's how old this piece is, It's really old. But sometimes these oldies are quite goodies. And I have to admit, this is one of my favorite pieces of the whole year. And not that every now and then I might pick a tune that everybody goes, ugh, and we don't end up performing it, right? But usually our pieces are good, and this one I think is great. Along with band member Universal Judgment, those of you who are here, the D-side D, yeah, that was great. We played it like 4 times. The band loved it, I loved it. And this could be another one like that. And I'm not sure if I ever played this one before, thanks, Sandy. But I believe that my handwriting's in here. Nonetheless, I hope that you enjoyed as much as I have and the band putting it together. Thanks so much for coming out. Hope you enjoyed the concert. Hopefully we usher in warm weather finally here in May. So hope to see you next time. Here it is, Rhythms of Rio, to end our evening.